Welcome back to page 121. Today we're going to take a look at some stuff out of the core rulebook and the field catalog, and there's a lot of other sources you can too. But today's topic is on mid-campaign session 0. What the heck does that mean? I actually refer to them as housekeeping. I'll take a chunk of time at some point during one of my campaigns, and this can be for any game that I run, but today's focus is going to be on Traveler, and I'll say, okay, you know what, we need to do some housekeeping. So let's set aside an hour of gameplay time. We're going to actually kind of update your characters, make sure your equipment is right and things like that. Games like D&D, you can do these, and I have done them. Yet at lower levels, you need them more than you need at higher levels, oddly enough. But in a game like Traveler, you need these every once in a while. So mid-session or mid-campaign session 0 or housekeeping session, however you want to call it, the idea is you have to stop the role-playing, stop the gameplay, no dice throwing. Now we have to figure out, okay, what stores did you use up in the ship that need to be replaced primarily for the ship's locker? What kind of upgrades are you going to make to your personal equipment now that you've come into a little bit of a windfall of cash? Are you going to upgrade some of your medical facilities? So I'll pull time out of my campaign, sit with the players and the books, and we'll go through, and basically I let the players go shopping. And it's a very good interactive thing, and I find very necessary in a campaign of Traveler, because it gets the players more engaged on the rules level. It makes them think about resources and expending resources and getting the best bang for their buck. Things they might not think about that they can go ahead and they can improve their characters with, you know, various implants or just computer upgrades, that kind of stuff that they might not think of otherwise if you didn't take the time, shut everything down for an hour or so, and just discuss this stuff with them. So it's not a true session 0. If you've been following my channel, you know that my current Traveler campaign, my guys didn't want to do a session 0. They didn't want to lose a whole night of gaming to a session 0. They said, you just go ahead and you make up the characters. I did, and it's been fine, and I explained them to them and the characters to them and everything, and they've been playing them great. But I really feel that we lost a little something by not doing a session 0. I'm a big fan of session 0s. But in a mid-campaign, yes, we are going to we've got, finally, our Traveler game is going to happen this coming Tuesday. And we are going to actually do the next leg of that. And then the game after that, I'm going to set aside for an hour's worth of housekeeping, because they're going to need to kind of reset some stuff after the forthcoming game. So it's going to be pretty interesting. I'll keep you in the loop on how the campaign goes. But that's it. Now I just want to talk a little bit about Jump Point. Yay, Jump Point, a Traveler convention for the Chicago area. It's going to be held in Mount Prospect, Illinois, at a great store called Games Plus. Bring money. Why? Not to get into Jump Point. All the events at Jump Point are going to be free. Games Plus is a tremendous game store. Pretty much anything you can think of, they probably have it. If you need paints, if you need figures, if anything, they're going to have it. I recommend coming there with some cash. Everything at Jump Point is completely free. We're going to be doing a couple of little giveaways for folks who attend. I'm going to be giving away some of my old Traveler stuff that I have doubles of. So if you want a chance to kind of glom onto some vintage Traveler stuff that you may not already have, well, this would be a good chance, and you'll get it for free. I'm doing them as giveaways. I'm not going to be selling anything. I will not be selling anything at the Jump Point. And the only seller will be the store that we'll be in. So it's not a true convention. We won't have vendors. But there is going to be a giveaway from me. We're going to be doing dying and character creation under classic Traveler rules. And 2 sessions so far scheduled. One by myself and the other GM by my son, Adam. I'm writing the sessions. And we're going to go ahead and run them. Anybody that wants to GM, go ahead, private message me in any of the channels that I've brought or advertised this video on, or even through YouTube. Go ahead, give me some feedback on if you want to GM. Adam has said if there's not enough people attending, he'll step aside and he'll let somebody GM the game instead of him. I'm excited about GMing. I'm hoping to meet some great Traveler folks. It's been a long time since I've done an open table Traveler game. I'm looking forward to it. And my entire group is going to be there except for my wife. My wife will not be attending. But Craig, Roy, Patrick, Adam, and I will all be there. This will be an opportunity to meet us, and I'm excited about meeting you guys. Right now, we've got 5 attendees scheduled for through YouTube or through Facebook, and I'm going to be bringing 5 as well. So we have at least 10 people. We'll at least be filling one table. I want to fill so many that Games Plus just doesn't know what to do with this. So that's the pitch for Jump Point. Also, subscribers, come on in. We talk about games here a lot. I try to make the channel very family-friendly, very user-friendly. I want this to be a fun channel you can just have on while you're painting in the background. That was the goal when I started the channel. I just want to be something that can be in the background, or you can watch on your phone, whatever, and just enjoy. So I'm trying to treat this as a DM or GM talking to these players. I try to keep it very free-form. I always have an outline for any event or any video that I do, but anything else is just me looking at stuff and talking. So they probably aware of that by now. We're going to go through a little bit out of the 2022 core rule update and out of the field catalog. Why did I choose these? Because these are ones I have in hard copy. I thought we'd just take a look at some stuff in here and some ways that you travelers might want to improve and upgrade their characters. So today, mid-campaign session 0 on page 121. All right, mid-campaign session 0. I hate that name, by the way. Or, as I like to call it, housekeeping. In virtually every campaign I run, at some point I tell my players, okay, we're going to have to set some time aside for housekeeping. In D&D, it's not that much. We're very experienced players. I live with 3 of my 5 people that are in my current campaign, so it's very easy if I want to mention something to one of my sons or my wife. Hey, by the way, we need to do this, we need to do that. We just take care of it. And then for Roy and Craig, it's a phone call, so it's no big deal. But for Traveler, it's a little different. This is a game where you need to sit down with the books every once in a while and just say, okay, you have X amount of money. You lost this item, that item from your ship's locker over the course of the adventures. Now it's time to take a look at the equipment. So what I'll do is I'll open the book to the equipment page on this in the 2022 rules update that I'm starting in. And it'll talk about spending credits. And then here's the core collection. And I realize that the central catalog has a lot of great stuff in it as well. But that's coming up with a 2023 update toward the end of the year, according to Mongoose's website. And I don't have the older one. I'm not going to be purchasing it because I'm going to be getting the new one. So that's why I'm staying with this book and with the field catalog from the Mercenary set. So we take a look, and they're going, okay, when my character started out, I didn't want to put a lot of money into any equipment, and now I've got a little bit more money, and I've seen the benefit of having better equipment. So let's take a look. What do I want to do? Oh, let's get some cloth at tech level 10. It's a +8. It's a little more comfortable to wear. It's just better overall, and it only costs 500 credits. Traveler armor can be very powerful because you can actually get to a point where you don't take any damage for getting a gunshot wound. If I have +8 armor, so I can take 8 points off of any damage done by any kind of weapon, and the weapon does 2d6, the average throw on a 2d6 is 7. So I know going into that firefight or that melee that I've got a good chance of taking no damage. One rule I've put in to mitigate that is no matter what, you always take 1 point of damage. That kind of got everybody's attention a little bit, and it didn't make them so cocky about walking into gunfire. So just a thought. It's just the way I've done it. But, when you get into the combat armors and vac suits, of course, are not made to fight in, but they can be good protection. And then combat armor, lots of goodies there. The Expanse does some nice stuff with vac suits in combat, if you're interested in seeing some stuff there. And now, are they getting enough where they can, maybe they have some power armor, maybe they mustered out with it, or maybe they acquired it somehow in the course of the campaign. Are there armor options they can get? Chameleon infrared or chameleon vis light, so you can blend in with your surroundings. Stuff like that. So it's definitely something to stop and take a look at. Let them thumb through the books and say, okay, maybe I do want to do this. It may make my character much more interesting to play. Here's some various augments I can get. Okay, I can get a cognitive augmentation of +2 intelligence, but it costs me 1,000,000 credits. Is it worth it? Well, yeah, if you've got a lot of intelligence-based skills, you want to improve your character and your rolling, yeah. You can do the same thing with dexterity. You know, you're still into some tall money here, but look what you're getting. You can get a neural comm, audio only, audio and visual, strength augmentation. There's all kinds of goodies. Wafer jacks. I love wafer jacks in Traveler. All kinds of goodies you can get. And this is stuff that players don't start with. And if they're not really into the Traveler rules, as my players are not, then they don't even think about. They just kind of let things go and they just plug along. My group is veteran. They're veterans of AD&D, have been for many, many years. And they tend to kind of treat all games in the same way they treat AD&D. I think some of the subtlety of Traveler is taking a look at what you can actually buy with your stuff. Since Traveler doesn't have, magic items like D&D does, the opportunity to go in and buy some stuff for yourself really is alien, no pun intended, to players who came from an AD&D background. I think it's absolutely worth it. I started everybody out with comm dots just to frustrate them. Nice short range, but no good other than that. So now they want to look into mobile comms and stuff like that, transceivers, tech level 14 computer, 500 credits. It's worth getting this stuff. Computers and software, the various computer programs you can run based on the computer that you're using. And then we get to the medical and care supplies. After they've been in a few firefights and they've been hurt a little bit, they start caring more about the medicine. I found that they were very interested after the first game when they went to their medical cabinet and said, oh, gosh, we don't have anything to actually help with this nasty puncture wound I've got. So that's another way to get their attention and to expend some credits. Sensors. I love sensors. Sensors in Traveler are so cool. And the idea of walking around with a bioscanner or a densitometer, why wouldn't you buy this stuff? Get yourself a nice tech level. If you can afford a tech level 15 bioscanner for 350,000 credits, this will absolutely pay for itself. It sniffs for organic molecules and tests chemical samples, analyzing the makeup of whatever it is focused on. It can be used to detect poisons or bacteria, analyze organic matter, search for life signs, and classify unfamiliar organisms. Why wouldn't you use a bioscanner? There's some great stuff from Mega Traveler that went into the sensors and gave us ranges and things that a lot of the other game versions of Traveler didn't go into. So I will often refer to the old Mega Traveler stuff for that. Survival gear and supplies. Again, they might have found themselves caught out because they didn't have some survival gear they ended up needing. Now they're going to cure that. All this is stuff they really don't think about till they sit down for your mid-session housekeeping or mid-campaign housekeeping. Various toolkits, respirators, filter masks can become very important. So now we're into weapons, of course. This is pretty much where the players are going to start. There's your melee weapons, and then slug throwers, and then your energy weapons, and this is where they're going to want to spend a lot of their money as well. There's no problem with that. That's some of the game. Traveler games lean toward combat. Usually, I've run entire games and even the bulk of campaigns where there's been absolutely no combat. It's all been role-playing, and the players have enjoyed it. My guys like the action a little bit, so they're going to be looking for weapons and armor, and I'm all for it. Grenades, why not? Heavy weapons. And then various weapon options that they may not have thought about, like a gyro stabilizer or a scope. And then vehicles. Hey, get yourself a nice air raft to stick in the back of your ship. It takes up a little bit of cargo space, but you can move around on your own when you hit the planet. So that's the first book. This is the core rule book, and we're going to take a look at some of the goodies that are available through the field catalog now. The field catalog's got a lot of really good stuff in it. I took a pretty extensive look at this a few months ago on the channel, but I've really wanted to take a look at some of the stuff in here again. Again, with the impending housekeeping session coming up, I thought, why not? I'll take a look here. So again, I'm going to start with the personal equipment. There's a ton of stuff in here you can use, but we're going to start with personal equipment right now. An external thermal regulation unit, otherwise called a chill can. You can build this into your armor to keep yourself warm or cold, depending on how it is. thermal regulation, Faraday weave to keep out, keep yourself, let's see, what's it do? Keeps out a current that will make them too hot. Matching tarp to disguise your presence. Thermal regulation covering. And then we get into some clothing and armor, discrete operations uniform, and then the environment suit. And these are all things that the players are not going to have when they start. And again, if they're not Traveler, people that read Traveler a lot, they're not really going to think about getting this stuff. But it's Comm Scrambler. For 75 credits, this thing, it's unbelievably useful. Absolutely you want that. Multifunction electronic device. Why not? Wear it on your wrist. Tactical relay network. All kinds of stuff in here you wouldn't think of. Now, this is from the Mercenary set, so a lot of the stuff is geared with that in mind. But here's some more weapons that your players can look at. These are some heavier weapons. It's just stuff that your players really want to think about. And if you don't do any kind of housekeeping session, you're really not going to get the opportunity to introduce it to them. Here's a military automatic. Absolutely worth getting. 17,500 credits at tech level 11. Completely worth getting. Support cooling units. Breaching charges. It's amazing. Travelers will find a use for breaching charges. Demolition blocks. Various mines. A sensor fence. All kinds of goodies in this book that can enhance what your players do and how they do it. I'm not going to go into a great look at this book because, as I said, I already looked at it primarily. And the thrust of today's video is to talk about getting your travelers to take some time out of the campaign, pull out an hour or so, put the books in front of them and say, look what you can buy. It's like the Sears catalog when I was a kid. And yes, I'm that old. I remember going through the Sears catalog and the JCPenney catalog and looking at various toys and gifts I wanted for Christmas for Santa to bring. Well, that's what these guys are. And that's what they're intended to be. So when your players get a little bit of money after a couple of successful adventures, you're going to want to have them sit down and take care of spending some of that money to enhance their overall experience in the coming games. I will be doing a housekeeping session not in my next game, which will be the 5th leg of my campaign. I'll be doing it in the following one because I'm already seeing that they're kind of falling a little bit behind the curve as far as updating their equipment. Incidentally, my son Adam is a little bit more of a tech head than the other players, and he and I did a session 0 when he made his character, The Advantage Again of Living Together. He was home from college for the weekend, and we sat for a few hours, and he went through the books too, and we looked at different things he could buy with his mustering up money and things like that, and he ended up with a much more rounded and complete character than the ones I whipped up without a session 0 with my other players. So that's really it. I hope you found this interesting. I love doing this. Traveler is a game that really does need some housekeeping, a little housekeeping session in the middle of your campaign. Champions is another game that definitely needs a housekeeping session where you just sit and you work with the rules a little bit to get the players set back to where they should be. Traveler lends itself because of credits, and Champions you earn experience points that you can build toward other powers your character can have and things like that. So that's all I've got to say today. I hope you found this information useful. Let me know how you've done your housekeeping sessions, maybe what you call them. I just call them housekeeping. I mid-campaign session 0. I guess that doesn't make sense to me. If you have a different name for them, I'd really be interested in them. You know, maybe I'll adopt it and I'll start calling them that. But right now, mid-campaign session 0 or housekeeping is what I'm going to call them. So that's it. Please remember Jump Point, November 6th in Mount Prospect, Illinois at Games Plus. And remember, please, to subscribe to the channel and help the channel keep growing. And if you can help out with the Patreon, that'd be fantastic as well. That's it for today from page 121. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.